It's amazing, I think, how many people don't spend that much time on their LinkedIn profile. I think they set it up at the very beginning and then it's left. I think that could be a bit of a mistake. Now, it might take a bit of time and certainly some thought, but if LinkedIn is a network that you use or you plan to use, then I think trying to get your profile right makes sense. Now, this is a short video, so I can't cover everything. I've done a blog covering all the various aspects I think are easy to fix. But I will give you two examples to show you what I mean. So I'm going to talk about just the headline and the pictures, the two most obvious ones really, and what would seem to be the simplest of all. Now, the thing about the picture is you want it to give an impression similar to the one they're likely to meet on the whole. You want it to be something that represents who you are, what you are, nice and simple. It doesn't necessarily have to be a formal picture. It does have to be a picture that looks like the person they're likely to meet or gives an impression about the type of company that you are representing. You could say that actually a good picture is one that you almost ignore because it's the bad ones that stand out. They're the ones that make you have a slight sense of, I'm not sure if I get what this person is all about. I mean, if you were to search up a particular service or skill, what you end up seeing is the headline and the picture. And if three of those pictures look normal, you might suggest, you might look at those as potential ones to go further with. But if some of the ones are slightly odder or badly taken, subconsciously you immediately start thinking perhaps they're not as professional as the others. So it just makes sense to get a decent picture. And it doesn't take much effort to get a decent photograph done. If you've got a decent phone, it will do it. Try and get some decent lighting. If you've got a friend that knows how to take pictures, the trend is towards getting better and more professional looking pictures. Next is the headline, which I've heard described as a 120 character sales pitch, which I think is a pretty accurate description. Now, you want your headline to make you stand out. You want it to make you appear different, and essentially you want it to compel people to take a closer look. So don't just use a job title, for example. Quite often it'll be a director and a company name. Well, the job title doesn't really tell you anything, and they probably don't know the company name. It's a missed opportunity. Quite simply, you want to give an idea of what you do. You want to explain your skill set in the language of the people you're trying to talk to so that they get what you're talking about. Try to explain the level of your skill set. What do you bring? Are you a specialist? Are you an expert? Are you an authority? Those are the sort of words that you want to use. You want to stress the benefits people get from working with you. Now, you only get about 120 characters, as I said, but actually, if you craft it carefully, you can get all of these elements into that headline, enough to make sure they stand out. And as I said in my original example, if I'm looking for a set of skills, a service, and I go onto LinkedIn and I search for it, up will come just that picture and this headline. So you have that first opportunity to explain what it is about you and your service that will make people think, yeah, it's worth a further investigation. And that's really half of the battle, just to get people interested. They'll make a decision on whether they want to talk to you, whether your services are something they want. But don't fall at the first hurdle by not having a decent picture or not having a headline that at least describes what it is they can expect when they go further into the profile to find out more about this. Now, the blog, as I say later on, has more information about some of the other tips and tricks. They're not earth-shattering, but they're things that people don't do. And if you get them done, you're going to make everything about your LinkedIn profile that much more effective. And that ultimately is what you're trying to achieve when you're on LinkedIn and you're talking with fellow professionals about what you do and what service and skills you can bring to other businesses on LinkedIn.